Welcome, guys, to another day of building Python project. Today we are going to be building a simple project which I call simple calculator. This calculator performs basic operation like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And on the screen, I've been able to analyze the to-dos or the steps we need to take in order to build this calculator. Alright, code with me. The first thing on the to-do list I want to cancel is to import our random module. And in order to do that, we import random to do that. So we import the random module. So let's do that. Random. Okay, so that's the first to do completed. Then the second to do is to define addition, subtraction, multiplication, divide function. That is all to do. So we have to create a function. Okay, so let us do that. In order for us to create a function, so we use the def word to define a function. So first thing is to use to add, and it's going to take two inputs, that is two numbers basically, and we will return it. So what this function does is to return the sum of the two numbers. Okay, then we also create for subtraction also, so you can call it subtraction, or to subtract, yes, so you can call it subtraction, subtract, and we also, okay, then we return. So we're supposed to return the operation performed, and that is, then the next one is to multiply, and it's also going to take two inputs. Okay, then we return it. So returning means it's going to give an output, and the output can be stored in a variable. It's going to give an output A multiplied by B. And lastly, we are going to divide, create the division, then we can have a parenthesis or colon. Now there are things involved here. So since it's division, now we need to raise an awareness in case the other thing is 0, the other the divisor is 0. So what we can do is we can say if b is equal to 0, okay, then return, yet we can just return, return the word undefined. Okay, it's going to raise the word undefined, then else it should return a divided by b. So yeah, cool. And that is that for the step 2. Then the step 3 is, okay, we have done that, undo division by 0. We have done step 3 also. Then the fourth to do is create calculator dictionary for the operator. So we're going to create a calculator dictionary for the operator. And how do we do that? So we can say calculator or calculate. That's the, so we are creating a dictionary. If you are creating a dictionary, you are using a curly bracket, okay, or curly braces. Then the first thing is to use the sign as the key, and we use the word add as the subtract as the value, so that when we use the key, when we access the key, it's just going to perform this function that I've already defined, because we have defined a function called add, defined a function called subtraction, define a function called multiply, and also define a function called division. So once we we use it, once we access the calculator using the keyword plus, then it's just going to perform that function. Okay, let us do that. Then we can put addition, and what we put is add. Okay, you put your comma, don't forget to put your comma. Okay, then the next one is minus, and we subtract. Okay, then we multiply, comma, then finally we do for division, then we put comma. So that is that. All right, the next thing we are going to do, okay, let us put this thing in brackets and brace. So that's, let's see. Okay, let's see first. All right, you have done that. Then the next thing is to get the first number. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to get the first number from the user. So we can say the first number. So we'll tell the user to give us the first number. So we are using floats, or let's do this way. We'll create an input first in order to get users and to get information from the user. Okay, and we are going to tell them to enter their first number. Don't forget, in our previous project I said that anytime you use the function input, your output, the data that you get back or the feedback you get, is always a string. So what you do is that you have to convert it to a float because you are dealing with numbers here. So convert it to a float data point. Do it. Then also we do it for the second number. So second number also. Then before that we do for operator. And let's see, we need the operator also. So tell the to enter operator, and for the operator now we can have, so we'll tell the users the operator they can put. So they can put addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So they can put division. These are these signs they can put. So that then the next thing is validate the operator and complete the initial result. Start. Okay. So let us see how our code is doing. So the first thing is that we can see for operator in calculate. Sorry, not for. If operator in calculate, that is this particular this particular line 24, that's the operator, that's the input they are giving us. If it's in this calculator, then what we want is that we want a result. So we can say what we want is that we want to access it. So we can say calculate, then we use our bracket, square bracket to access. So we want to access so we are accessing the value using the key. Okay, operator, then the function, the first and second number. All right, then let's save this thing in something. Let's save it in something, in an output called result. Okay, then let us print out the result and see what we have. Okay, let's run this code and see if it's doing well. All right, so enter the first number. So 4 enter the operator sign, we need division. Then the second number is 4. Oh wow, our code is doing fine. All right, let's continue. Then what we can do here is we can say we can use f strings, and now f strings, you can use an f strings and say yes, you can see result is equals to result. So that's that. Okay, then now sometimes you might want to perform more than one operation, so that is when we can start using an infinite loop. So how does infinite loop work? We can start by saying while true. Okay, so this thing should always repeat. So the next thing is we can create a choice. So we can say we can create a variable called choice. And what does this choice do? It just ask people question, like for example, do you want to continue? So after you've done your first calculation, maybe you still want to continue, you want to continue. Okay, so let's just say y or no, that's yes or no. And now what we can do is we can create something like an if statement to say if the choice, okay, is not equal. So if the choice is not equal to, if the choice is not equal to yes, then what we do is we can break the code. But before we break the code, we have to tell them something. For example, we can tell them print yes, you can tell it print thanks for using the calculator. Okay, then that's that one. But let's assume that the user wants to continue. You understand? If the choice is unequal to yes, that means the user don't want to continue. But let's say the user wants to continue, so we can now say if, then that means it's going to be opposite. So now if the other one, okay, so we can now say if operator also in calculate yes, then what we can do is we can create the operator. Then after I've done the operator, okay, then we want to create the next number so that the user will be able to enter our next number. So we can say the next number. So we want them to enter another number, but don't forget that we are saving this number in a float, as a floating data point rather. Okay, good. Now the next thing we do is that if they didn't put yes, that means if they didn't put no, that means it's yes, then we can repeat it and say result is equal to calculate operator, then first number, next number. So what this line of code is that it does is that it will enter into that dictionary, access the key. No, you want to access the value, and that value is a function, so the it will use the square bracket using the key to access that value. Okay, so and that value now it's a function that takes two inputs, which is first number and the next. So this time around it's going to take in not first number, it's going to take in result from the previous value. Okay, it's going to take in results, and that's it. So and this, then get the next number, then compute and print the out this, then else we can use the word else. If there are no operation, then we can this else have to be in this indentation, then else we can also print thanks for and or we can print invalid operation. You can see exit equal. We can exit the code, and that will bring us to the end of the program. Let's see how our program is doing. Okay, the first number we have 5. Second number, let's see, we are using division for the operator. The second number we have 5. Okay, 1 results is 1. Do you want to continue? Yes, I would like to continue. Okay, this time around I want to do addition. Then the next number I want to add 1, and let's see, you can see the result is 2. Okay, then do you want to continue? No. You see, thank you for using the calculator. You can see this is how our calculator works, and you can go on and on and on, and keep performing operation with that. So that is all for today, and thanks for writing this code with me. See you at day 5, where we'll be building another amazing project. And if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more updates. Subscribe, like, okay, and share the video. Okay, yes.